All right, I didn't expect Activision to put out a blog about skill-based matchmaking, which they did yesterday, which I'm still shocked. I'm like, wait a minute. They are very, very quiet. They don't care. They're all about getting that paper and laughing all the way to the bank. You know what I mean? But the fact that they took time to discuss those things is, like I say, is shocking to say the least. But there are a lot of players feel that that system needs to be toned down some, and I've been saying this not just in Modern Warfare 2, which is last year, 2022. I mean, excuse me, 2 years ago. Excuse me, but it's been talked about since 2019. It's gotten ridiculous. Now, my experience, the Modern Warfare 2019 skill-based matchmaking, it was nowhere near as sweaty, nowhere near as bad compared to Black Ops Cold War. That's where the stupidity, the insanity begun, where I felt like I was going up against not just high skill players, but going up against these so-called legendary players to the point where I'm just getting smacked around real good. Vanguard, it never let up. Modern Warfare 2, the 2022 version of the Modern Call of Duty, it was like a roller coaster to the point where the consistency, I talked about in my review, the links will be in the description, and then I have not played Modern Warfare 3 yet. In fact, the last time I touched Modern Warfare 3 in terms of online multiplayer was the beta. It was the middle of October, late last year, you know? So it was a little bit of Modern Warfare 2-ish, where the roller coaster was the highest of the high, where I'm playing against players in my skill set. Then the lowest of low, where I'm just getting rough shot, getting beat around by these legendary esports players or so-called esports players trying out for Atlanta FaZe or Texas Optic team and whatnot. I'm like, oh goodness, stop. So it's whatever. Activision is going to do what they do best. So there's nothing that players can do. So either you just play the game or you don't. Now let me get to the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions. We gotta have to have a seat. Let me get this straight. Baltimore Ravens, you had the number one seed in the National Football League, let alone the AFC, American Football Conference. You had the Kansas City Chiefs right where y'all wanted, the defending, reigning Super Bowl champs, and you allowed them to come into your house and snatch the Super Bowl berth right out of your hands. Now the Kansas City Chiefs is representing the AFC in Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, Nevada, in 2 weeks away, while y'all are watching home like the rest of us. Talking to you, Baltimore Ravens. How did this happen? Well, I was discussing this with my father while we were watching. The Kansas City Chiefs were playing like they're the number one seed, while the Baltimore Ravens, they forgot how to play football. I don't know what in the world happened, but it seems like Lamar Jackson was so focused, so determined to prove doubters and naysayers and haters wrong by sitting in the pocket trying to be a pocket passer. He just abandoned, or the entire team or the entire offense abandoned the run altogether. You know, then you have the defense. Even though they played lights out in the second half, I would love to see that in the first half. They were committing dumb penalties. The offense were too. And the one throw that really set me off the most by Lamar Jackson is throwing it into triple coverage. How in football God's name do you do that? You've been in the league for 6 flipping years and you do that in the most inopportune time. You already got sacked 4 times. You turn the ball over 1 time, strip sack, and you throw it into a triple coverage? Are you serious right now? Hey, I mean, this law, that L, that defeat by the Baltimore Ravens, it's gonna haunt them forever. I don't care what anybody says. They can sit there and say, "Oh well, it's just a game." Well, the fans want to see their team reach the Super Bowl and win it all, and you didn't do it. In fact, I picked the Ravens and the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl, but it ain't happening because the Baltimore Ravens picked the crappiest time to have a bad game, especially at home. Last but not least is the damn Detroit Lions. I mean, goodness gracious delight. Y'all had a 24/7 lead. You were pummeling. You were running roughshod. You were just having a good old time with the San Francisco 49ers in the first half. And what did y'all do in the second half of the NFC title game? Even though I didn't watch it because I felt that that San Francisco 49ers were going to win that game, which they did. But how they won is surprising to say the least. But you threw the ball 20 times and you ran the damn ball 8 times for what? 8 for 34 or 35 yards on the ground. This is why I hate watching football, or excuse me, today's football, because coaches are just, they make the most asinine, head scratching, knuckle-headed moves, decisions they could ever make. They just throw the strengths out the window. I feel like I want to flip tables right now. I feel like I want to punch a wall. Oh my goodness, Dan Gamble, you going to get criticized? Yes, you will. You're still going to get criticized years from now. The Lions fans, even though they're just happy to see their team win a playoff game for the first time since 1991, they would rather see their team make it to the Super Bowl. They rather see that and see where it goes. You abandoned the run to throw the ball. You do know what happens when you do that, right? Oh, pass incomplete, pass incomplete, pass incomplete. You're giving the San Francisco 49ers a small glimpse of hope, and it's going to grow big and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we saw what happened. That 17-point lead gone, 31-34. I believe that's the final score. I mean, Detroit Lions, I didn't expect them to make playoffs. I knew they were going to make the playoffs, but I didn't expect them to do anything. But the fact that they won 2 playoff games, despite being at home, a win is a win at the end of the day, is nothing short of amazing. But it would have been excellent if they would have got to the Super Bowl, if they didn't squander a 24-7 lead. Oh, and with that, I'm out. What's your thoughts?